Yo, what is good YouTube? I'm Richie Kim, and today I'm going to be bringing you all the performance review on the brand new Nike Adapt BB 2.0. Before we get started, if you all enjoy sneaker content just like this, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button down below. But anyways, let's get right into it. I'm gonna go ahead and apologize if this video is a little bit noisier than usual. They are doing some yard work outside of my building, so I do apologize for that in advance. But anyways, let's get on with the traction. So the traction on the Adapt BB 2.0, they did change up the traction from the 1.0. The 2.0 features a full-length herringbone traction pattern, and it is made out of this translucent rubber. And I'd say that the traction is a little bit better than the Adapt BB 1.0, but still not that great. If you guys are playing on clean courts, you're gonna have no problems. It's super squeaky and the bite is pretty good, but most of us aren't playing on those pristine courts. So if you're playing on your average dusty courts to hella dusty courts, you guys are going to have to consistently wipe or you will have some slip ups. I don't know why Nike keeps using this translucent rubber on the Adapt BB, but in my opinion, it really is hindering the traction. This shoe could have way better traction, I believe, if they used a solid rubber option, but it is what it is and can't really do anything about it. The translucent rubber picks up a lot of dust, and the herringbone is actually very tightly spaced together, so you're gonna have to consistently wipe. And sometimes the dust can be a little bit of a pain to wipe off as well. It just depends on how much dust is actually stuck in between the grooves. So on clean courts, you're not gonna really have any problems, but for everyone else, just make sure you wipe, otherwise you will slip up. So moving on to the cushion, the Adapt BB 2.0 features a full-length Cushline midsole, the exact same as what's featured in the Adapt 1.0. But in this one, I feel like the cushion does feel a little bit better. And what's different from the 2.0 is that the 2.0 features a Nike Zoom Turbo unit up in the forefoot. Right here, it's a pretty big volume zoom unit, very similar to what's featured in the Kyrie 5. And yeah, honestly, the Zoom Turbo, at first, I really didn't feel it. But once you break in the shoe, you can definitely feel the bounce. I wouldn't say it's as bouncy as what's featured in the Kyrie 6, but maybe pretty similar to the Kyrie 5, maybe slightly less bouncy than that as well. And just to make sure that you all know that there is a Zoom Turbo unit in the Adapt BB 2.0, they made this, red circle on the outsole just to show you that the Zoom Turbo unit exists right here in the forefoot. For $400, I really wish that they incorporated maybe something like full-length zoom or heel and forefoot zoom, but it is what it is. From a performance standpoint, it does the job just fine. It does grant you a little bit of impact protection and responsiveness and court feel, but I would definitely say that the court feel in this shoe isn't as good as other shoes that feature that Zoom Turbo unit. So moving on to the materials on the Adapt BB 2.0 could have been way better in my opinion. For that $400 price point, I would expect some very, very high quality materials, but it's just not what you get on the 2.0. What you get is a base layer of mesh, and on top of that is another shroud of mesh, but it's a very plasticky feeling mesh, which from a durability standpoint is good, but just in hand it doesn't feel that great. On foot it does feel fine though, so I'm not gonna knock it for that. Also around the midfoot area, you do have hits of fuse just there for that added durability. As you move towards the back, you do get some nice materials. You do have suede that wraps around from the midfoot to the heel area of the shoe, and on the back you do have a very hard plastic heel counter as well. Another added premium touch is you do have this nice, very, very buttery leather tab on the tongue, and the tongue itself is made up of 3M, which is also a nice visual touch. From a performance aspect, the materials do the job just fine. They actually do a really good job at what it's supposed to do, but an in-hand feel and just the quality for the price point, it's not that great. But performance wise, it does the job just fine, so I can't really knock on the materials that much. So moving on to the fit and support, I'd say that the fit on the Adapt BB 2.0 pretty much runs true to size, very similar to the 1.0, but it's definitely not as narrow up in the forefoot area. And also another thing about the fit is they actually widen up the ankle area, so you can slide in your foot way easier. It just opens up way more because of the deletion of the Flyknit shroud and the overall design of the shoe. If you guys are slightly wide footers to hella wide footers though, I would definitely recommend, try on a pair if you can, but you may want to go up a half size, because even with, the shoe not being as narrow up in the forefoot, I did have some pinching pain, almost to the feeling of cramping. It's just the way that the lacing system is in the shoe. You can't customize where you want to tighten the shoe, because it just pretty much tightens everywhere. So definitely go up a half size or try them on if you can in store. Standard footers and narrow footers, I think you all should be fine going true to size. The support in the 2.0 is also really nice. Like I mentioned before, you do have this very large plastic heel counter on the outside of the shoe, which just grants you that heel stability, that heel lockdown. And also up in the forefoot, I didn't really have any side-to-side movement on the footbed. And also, the shoe doesn't really have a lateral outrigger, but the outsole itself combined with the midsole does form kind of a wide base, so I never really had any feelings of instability on crossovers or really hard plants. Not to mention, you do have the self-lacing system that's built in right into the bottom of the middle of the shoe, which kind of acts as a midfoot shank, so you have that torsional rigidity and stability as well. The Adapt BB 2.0 retails for $400, and that is a $50 increase over the Adapt BB 1.0. I'm honestly not sure why they increased the price by 50 bucks. I think everyone was expecting a price decrease, but it is what it is. Can't really do anything about it. I don't really think they added $50 worth of upgrades from the 1.0, so that's kind of, a really crappy thing in my opinion. But from a performance standpoint, I'd say it's a pretty good shoe. Outside of the traction, it is not that good on your average court, or even slightly above average court. If there's any dust present, you're gonna have to consistently wipe, because if you let that dust build up, you're gonna slip up, and it's just not a very pleasant experience. If you guys are on those clean courts, you're gonna have no problems at all. If you all have the money to blow and you're trying to flex on everybody, then I'd say go for it. But for the $400 price point, I definitely don't think that this shoe is worth it. Nowhere near $400. This is definitely like a collector's item slash like flex piece. In my opinion, I would just say get something else, maybe like the KD12 or the PG4. Those are really great performers for almost a quarter of the cost of this shoe. But overall performance in the shoe isn't bad. Besides the traction, it's just not worth that $400. That's pretty much it for this performance review. If you all like this video, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button down below. Also, while you're at it, smash that thumbs up button for me, as it really does help me out. While you guys are at it, check out this video on my left and on my right, and that's pretty much it. Until next time, peace.